It turned off.
I was looking for it. Yeah. That song was perfect. It was great. And in our class last week, one of the things we did was, "Who are you?" And so that was quite appropriate for me. My talk today, you know, we have a theme every month, and I know we say that a lot, but our theme for this month was the stepping stones of conscious living. And the truth about this is that stepping stones is really in Allie's wheelhouse. That's because that was the title of her kind of like thesis for when we were both in practitioner training back in the year 2000, some 16 years ago. When you were a kid.
No numbers.
I remember that time, and I remember meeting with her once. We used to get together quite often and create while we're doing our practitioner training, and then right near the end there, where we each had to come up with this thesis. And we used to meet at this coffee shop and other places, and we would talk about workshops that we were going to do, or things we were going to create, classes and stuff like that. Remember? And she came one time. She was so excited that she had written she had this idea. She was inspired to write this thing about stepping stones. And it was like overnight. She hadn't written it or started it or thought of it the last time we met. And then overnight she comes in and she's got this trifold thing laid out with it all written, you know, and it was just beautifully laid out. It was like if you stepped into another program, AA program or something. It had all of the premise for the program and the body of it, and how the groups were going to break out, and the procedures and the goals and the visions, and it was all already done. And this was the stepping stones. So that's why I say it's really stepping stones. It's really in her wheelhouse. And I had this other thought. I don't know if I ever shared it with her or not, but it was sort of like as we were creating these things together, and I thought, does this girl ever sleep? How could she put this together overnight? It's like, I'm never going to be able to keep up. Well, I couldn't. I still can. But we do what we can. And here we are now. See, she's the visionary in this group, so you should be very thankful that she is here for this center, for this We should have done that last time.
Don't look at her.
Don't look at her. So, soon after that, we each went our own ways. We had graduated, we had done our work, we had taught some classes and did all that stuff, and we kind of went our own ways. And then 4 or 5 years later, we both found ourselves in Utah. This was taking place in California. We'd both grown up there and made some work until I was 9, but that's another story. Utah, really, honestly, was never on my radar as the place I was going to end up. But today I'm talking about steps to conscious living. Steps we take. And I remember my first step a long time ago to this path of metaphysics, to this path of spirituality, to this path of where we are right now. It began a long time ago, and I was very young at the time, and I recall I had questions about the traditional faith I'd grown up with, that the church really wasn't answering for me in ways that made sense to me. So I, at this young age of like 13, decided I was going to stop attending that center, that church. And God bless my parents. They allowed that I could take my own path. That my learning quest was somewhere else. I I look back and I think I had an inner knowing, I had an inner calling, I had something that was telling me there was another path for my learning, another avenue. I think the trouble was then I was 13 and I had no idea what that was. But I knew it was somewhere else. And they allowed it. Oh, I'm so grateful for that, for them. Now there are a lot of ways, a lot of paths, a lot of steps, a lot of pursuits, many, many teachings. And at that time, I didn't follow any of them. I kind of stepped away from spirituality, religion, everything completely, and went my own way. I went down another road, which is also another talk. You should have seen me then. And it took me many years to get back to myself. What I know was my true inner self. Wasn't those days from that 13 to 21 was not lost years, but quite learning years. See, there was always this little bit of discontent, and without knowing what I wanted and who I was, truly, you sometimes get lost. And I think we found our way. I say we because my wife Claire really found the way back. We were living in California, and her father, so it kind of came from through another channel, and she's, I'm going to look up this thing called religious science. I'm going to look up this metaphysical center and see what that's all about. And I wasn't interested, of course, so she went without me. And she found this center, and she said, you've got to see this. You've got to hear this. So then I went back, and I sat in a room a lot like this. And there was a minister up there speaking, a lot like me. He was a bit shorter. And I listened to this fellow, and he talked, and he said things that really struck my soul. You know, so hopefully sometimes we can do that for you here too. You know, he was telling me, you know, God's not up there in the cloud with a beard passing judgment. He's here. He's inside. He's everywhere. But he's within. You want to pray? Close your eyes and go within. You want your life to change? Stop doing what you've done to get you here if you don't like where you are. Do something different. Change your thinking. Change your life. He said, you know, this thing about insanity is being in this maze, always, you know, like chasing the cheese, but going down the same path every time, looking for the cheese. But you do it every time, every day, and you expect a different result. That's crazy. Take responsibility, he said. You have choice. It's up to you, not someone else. See, this is a divine, intelligent, reflective universe. And the truth is, it only says yes. It only says yes. It's done unto you as you believe. And that's a very deep thing when we get into teaching that. And I thought, wow. And I want more. I wanted to know where this teaching had been all my life. I had finally found it. And I said, and what is all this stuff about reflective universe? Change your thinking, change your life. How is that possible? And the universe, God only says yes? How so? That had never been a part of my upbringing and my teaching. How do I do that? I'd gone off the scientific path a little bit, and I wanted to know know the science of it, the steps to it. 1, 2, 3. How do you do that? So my talk is started on the steps to consciously choosing conscious living. And quite often I stand up here and I talk about that. And being aware and choosing the life you want to live. All of those things that I had mentioned. And how do you accomplish that? Meditation, affirmations, if you were here for the morning meditation, went through a whole list of affirmations. Forgiveness, start with forgiveness, that's part of the path. Life of service, that is a way. Living a life of gratitude, that is a way. So many ways. But I was stuck. It was like, just like that. I choose, like magic. I choose the red Porsche. And it didn't appear. When I leave here, is my gray Subaru sitting in that spot that I left it out there? It's going to be the red Porsche when I leave here. Boy, that would get me up to Huntsville really quick. I talked about that with Clippers. No. And is it that simple? Pray once a day? Every day? Do it once and I'm done? Is that what I do? And it almost sounded like that, especially the first time I sat in and listened to this fellow speak. And does it matter what I choose? You say I'm free, I choose anything I want. Change my life. You say I'm co-creator in this universe, in this thing called life. So I speak my word and it's done. Is that right? Not quite. Not quite. It's easy. It's simple, but not that easy. I'm sorry. It's just not. Not in my experience. If I say, because I do this too, just meditate. And I don't even think about it, but you may say back, well, how do I do that? I'm not an experienced meditator. How do I meditate? Or I'm going to tell you, it's up to you. Your life, your choices. It's up to you. And you may say, what? What's up to me? What are you talking about? What's up to me? Just get still and know. Know what? Or how? How do I get still? What am I looking for? So I've been doing this for so long, and I've been doing things like that for so long, and trying different things for so long that I forget when I'm speaking, not everyone is hearing what's going on up here. So just meditate. Maybe it's not so simple. So this talk started out with, hey, I'm going to give you step 1, 2, 3 on how to find this thing called life, this conscious living, to be consciously aware. And I think sometimes it's just a matter of if I can just shine a light, or if I can give you a little bit of inspiration, you'll find the way. You'll pursue a path. Maybe you'll be inspired by something I've shared with you or done. Maybe you'll take a class, and that's where you can really dip in deeper to some of these awarenesses or understandings. A way to change your life if you're not happy with where it is right now. There are so many ways. Like I said, living in gratitude. Love everyone. Service is the great way to learn, meditate using affirmations. Begin by forgiving. So many ways. Visioning. Find your core values and live those. You know, what is it you're doing? And are you living up to your core values? You may not even know what your core values are. But if you're not living up to the values that you have on your inner belief, if you're not living in that path, there will be something missing. You'll have that urge, that feeling, you'll know. But you have to find those. So I say, can I do a step-by-step for you here today? So I started doing some research, started looking into that for what I can do today. And there are a lot of books. There are a lot of ways to do it. There are so many paths. 10 steps to success. You know, there's the 12-step program. There's 5 self-care activities. There's 10 spiritual laws. There's 7 habits of highly effective people. 4 noble truths. There's 3 steps to peace. 4 agreements, 100 ways to meditate. Which one do you want? There was a practice in Plum City in Thich Nhat Hanh's center. It's in France. And their practice is several times throughout the day, and I don't know how often they do it, but they ring a bell. So you hear that bell? Do you know what they do? Just close your eyes. So you're talking to someone, you're working in the garden, you're having an argument. The bell goes off, and you stop. It is part of their daily routine. It's something they do all the time. They stop and breathe and get centered. Now there's a practice. You know, we have these toys now. Maybe I could set mine so that every hour on the hour it just bings. But that, when I was still working, I thought, boy, they could have used that. Heated arguments, sitting in meetings, trying to make decisions. Bell, everyone stops. Takes a breath. Shall we begin again? That would be a practice. That would be a wonderful practice. And in doing all this research, like I said, I couldn't find the perfect way. And I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I wanted to give you today the 3 steps, the 5 steps maybe. But there isn't only one way. There are so many ways. But I'm going to give you something else, not the specific steps. You learn as you go, different paths, different ways. We teach things and do classes about how to meditate and how to do these different things. So I'm not going to give you the steps, but I am going to give you a key, maybe 3 keys to whatever path you take, whatever choice you make, whatever steps you're going to do. But first I want to tell you a couple of things that will go with this. First, there's this Hurls of Wisdom from Michael Beckwith. And I just heard this morning that Michael finally caught up to me. He shaved his head.
Really?
I am not my hair.
Wow.
So Michael's on board. Now in his visioning book, he made it clear that we may ask people to meditate, or you may begin starting a practice of meditation or visioning. And one of the first questions is how? How do I do that? You know, like I was saying, to give you the steps. But he wanted to make it clear, very clear, it's not the how that is important. The better question would be, what? What is meditation? If you can answer the question about what it is this process to get still, be quiet, whatever it is meditation is. Out of that you will know the how. You get still, you get quiet, you do. Once you know the what, the how follows. And it's the same with life. Once you know what it is you want, once you know the what, the true, the deep down what, not the superficial, but the real you what, you know better how to get there. So the how isn't the important part anyway. It's the what. It's important to identify that with your heart and not your mind. With your heart. You say you want a new car. You want lots of money. I'd say no. What you want is freedom. It's not the car, it's not the money. So it's important to know that truth of what it is you're chasing. See, when you have the consciousness of the thing, consciousness creates it. This universal oneness, this source of life, life itself, God, is consciousness. And it reflects back to you your true desires. And a question for you this morning is it time? Are you ready to cultivate a new environment for yourself? Are you ready to change? Do you know what prevents you from expressing more? Almost always. Past belief systems, memories, things that you've made decisions about from when you were 5 years old, that are your barriers, that are the blocks, that bring up your resistance to the change. It is your history, it is your belief system, your ego. You want to change? Do you know that there's a cost? Do you know that it will cost you time? And it'll cost you because you will have to give up a past belief system. You will have to give up that need to do it the way you've always done it. You have to give up a past that no longer supports you. Mary Morrissey, we just saw her recently in Big Sky, she said, the moment your belief matches with any state of mind, state of peace, state of upset, the moment they match, you fuse. And it results in the activation and the projection of that condition. You create it. What you think is what you get. The universe reflects it right back at you, good or bad. So another pearl is to watch your words and your thoughts. They are so powerful. There is an energy in your words, a real energy. When you sit around saying, my life sucks, excuse my language, it's about as bad as I can get. what you get back is more proof that the truth as you believe it is it. More evidence of suckiness. The universe will match it and send it right back to you. Good or bad. Bottom line, it's all about the law of attraction. No matter which books you follow, no matter which practices that I talked about that you may use, what you pay attention to will be returned to you. It's a universal law. Cause and effect. Universe of reciprocity. You want to change your life, and this comes from a book that Claire and I are reading right now. It's called The Saint, the Surfer, and the CEO. Smaller print. Costco glasses. So I wanted to read this right out of here. He said, change your life. It happens in an instant. It happens the moment, excuse me, I'm sorry. It happens the moment you make a fundamental commitment from the deepest place within you that you will no longer, excuse me, profound truths always affect me like this, and I can't help it, I'm sorry, excuse me. When you will no longer accept mediocrity, and if it's made from the core of your heart, something within you, shift. You will no longer accept the way you've been living, and you'll automatically raise the bar of your life and set a series of new standards for yourself. Now, while it only takes a minute to change your life, let's be real here. What takes months, years, maybe decades, is maintaining. So, to the keys, to the three keys that I talked about. First thing is to notice. Always begins with noticing, being aware, being awake, just noticing things. So let me give you the good news. You're here. You've noticed something. You've got step one. Just notice. The second thing is you are going to have to replace some old habits. You are going to have to replace certain parts of your belief system. And the how? Lots of ways. All those things I mentioned. Lots of books. Read, meditate, affirmations. The thing is, you try them out, and if they work for you, do them. If they don't work for you, try something else. You'll know because it feels good. You'll know because it makes a difference. Pay attention. Number one, notice, pay attention. Number two is let go. Listen to your intuitive self and know that if it feels right, it's the way to go. If forgiveness is up for you, start working on forgiveness. And here's the key. Commit. Do it. For your own good, for your own growth. It's kind of like to get into the habit of doing it. If you do it every morning, you do it every morning. If you had never been brushing your teeth and I came to you now and said, we've got to do this thing, you got to do 32 of this and take 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever, brush your teeth, and you're like, I don't have time for that. When I get up in the morning, it's all I can do to get my coffee down, get the kids dressed, and get out of here. Don't give me another thing to do. But now that it has been this part of your life for so long, you just get up and you do it. You want to make a difference, a change in your life, you have to do it all the time. You have to be aware and awake. You have to be constant and consistent. That's the key, as I see it. You have to do it on good days and on bad days. On bad days when you just don't want to brush your teeth. And there may be those days. It's okay. Same thing with your life. I don't feel like praying this morning. Do it anyway. And I'm telling you, even on the good days, like, it is going so good and things are working and I don't need to pray anymore because it's all together. You know what happens to those bodybuilders after they retrieve their mass? I'm here. I can stop now. I've seen some pictures, but they don't look so good. It's the same with your life, with your consciousness, with your awareness. If you want to change your life, find a path that works for you, that feels so good that you know makes a difference. If you're sitting and doing meditation and it makes a difference, do that, but commit to it. You want to make a difference in your life, you want to change your life, that's my key to you. I'm not going to give you the 1, 2, 3 step, I'm sorry. That choice is yours. My key to you is step up. It's time. It's time. If you know it, you know it. If you've got a path, take it. But commit to it. Notice. Be awake. Do what supports you. And do it every day. Thank you. Let me close in prayer.
Thank you, Lyle.
Just take a deep breath and know how marvelous you are. You are a divine work of God, a source of life itself. You are wise, you are strong, you are smart, you are lovable, you are loving, you are worth everything. You hear those children coming in? That's life walking down the hall. Embrace it. And when you know it is time, you step into it. When you know you are ready, life's waiting to support you. It is an abundant, wonderful universe, and it will shower you with your deepest wishes. If you have no belief system, you have the ability to change that. It'll cost you time. Know that the source, that God, that spirit only says yes. Know that that's the truth in this universal law. It only says yes. So know what you want from the deepest place within. And know you are worthy. That this was your birthright. To be joyous, to be loved, to be expressing all the energy the universe has to offer. It's yours. Breathe into that and know the truth. Know. Don't wonder, don't think. Know you are worth it all. Own that. Love that. And so the blessing begins. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you so much. Namaste.